All right, Frank Sepe for Muscle and Fitness. Honored to be here for the National Military Fitness and Wellness Month. It's our second interview of the month. I am here with Senior Military Editor Robert Wilkins. It's always a pleasure to do these interviews with you, Rob. And can you introduce our guest, please?
Sure. Thanks, Frank. And thanks to everybody for supporting our channel here and this special month where we're bringing note to physical fitness. And it doesn't just mean for competition, it means for life. It means that you want to be healthy so that we can live long, productive lives and be here for our family members. And so with that in mind, I'm here with Charjo Grant. Charjo is a Army major, but he just was notified recently that he's been promoted to Lieutenant Colonel. In addition to that, he's also one of the top physique competitors in the world. When I met Charjo last year at the Olympia, the morning of his competition, he's actually taking war college classes where everybody else is getting ready for the competition. He's actually sitting, working on his master's degree. So not only the stress and strain of getting ready, but he's got the stress and strain of making sure his grades are good, for the U.S. Army and his service to protecting our great nation. So Charjo, thanks for taking some time out to spend with Frank and I, and we appreciate what you're doing, the representation you give to the United States military, the amazing world-class physique you've developed, but for being a really good guy. So welcome to our interview today.
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I'm glad that you guys, selected me. Very honored to speak on behalf of both worlds, armed forces, and of course bodybuilding. So thank you for having me.
Sure.
What we'd like to know first, obviously, is how you got your military background and why you joined the military.
Well, so I joined the military. First of all, I have a traditional military family background. So I have quite a few aunts and uncles. Even my dad was at one point a member of the Army. The majority of my family went Army with some Air Force guys up in there. But yeah, it was just a tradition that I stepped into, and it was an outlet for me to get out into the world, away from a place where I didn't think I would be able to thrive and grow as a person professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
where are you from?
I'm originally from a small town called Early Branch, South Carolina. No lights, one road, go straight through, got a railroad track on the other side, and that's it. Got to drive 30, 45 minutes to a Walmart, country.
That's the night out, Walmart, right? Are you the highest ranking military officer in your family? Because you have a history.
No, I have a cousin who has made Lieutenant Colonel. Wow. So I'm about to be right there with him. He's retired. So I have a chance to go even higher. Things go well.
But I think you may be, at least for the U.S., you may be the highest, once you become a Lieutenant Colonel, you might be the highest ranking active duty IFBB Pro. I know overseas we've had some generals in some of the foreign services before that have competed, but I'm not sure that we've had any in the IFBB Pro status, compete before. So that might be you might be the next guy. You might be the one that all military folks who are competing look forward to and say, yes, sir. They're going to follow your lead and say that if you can do it, though, you will show them that they can also do it. So we're honored to have you again competing with us and serving our great nation.
Absolutely. I take that, as a compliment, and I'm honored to do that because one of the things,
don't worry, Frank can fix all that.
One of the things that people fail to realize is that soldiers are human beings. We have lives, we do things outside of just the military. So just me being in a different space outside of my uniform, I have plenty of people coming up to me telling me that it's an inspiration to see us do that because we're more than uniform. We're actually people, like regular people, just carrying on and trying to live a good life.
Sure. And so your normal day to day, what does it start? Like, what time do you start? What time do you finally get to the gym? I know that you have a family that's growing, so spending time with your family. How does that work out for a world-class competitor?
Well, it's very fluid. It changes from day to day, just depending on what I have going on. Also, we on this telework schedule at work. Some days I got to go in, some days I don't. I have surprise days where the days I'm not supposed to go in. Up now, I got to show up. So it just depends. It's day to day. Like on a normal day, if I have to go into work, I'm usually at work around about 08. So usually I try to knock my cardio out earlier. So I'm up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, doing cardio, just to get that out of the way. And then after I get off of work, which is around maybe 1600, which is 4 o'clock, then I'll try to make my way into the gym in the late evening. And then after that, I'm gassed, I'm tired, but guess what? I got family, baby. So now I gotta spend family time. So you just gotta plan it out and just go through it. One of the things that competitors or people need to realize is that if you decide to compete, it's nobody else's fault but you. So you can't just neglect spending time with your family because you chose to do something and chose to put yourself in this situation. Of course, we all want to be the best and we want to do what we need to do, but you also need to be the best at home.
Do you prep your meals? How do you prep your meals and for competition?
Well, see, I have this lovely wife. And she takes care of me. She asks me what I need. I give her my list. Boom, it's done. It's done. And it's ready for me in the refrigerator. And I'm good to go. When I get up, I just go to the refrigerator. I see the containers. I pop them in my little cooler, and I'm out the door.
Right. Charjo, so when we're talking about what you're a world-class competitor whose physique is, again, one of the best in the IFBB physique category. What do you think, or how do you inspire those who don't want to compete, but because of your business, the business of the U.S. military, your warrior athletes? How do you inspire the troops that fall below you or that look up to you as inspiration and hope and leadership to get them motivated to exercise? Because as you know, right now, only 23% of youth between 17 and 24 can serve. Out of that 23%, only 2% want to serve. And the thing that's keeping most people out of our military is obesity. It's the number one cause to keep people out of the military. So how do you inspire and bring hope and inspiration to those youth who physical fitness might be something they don't want to do every day?
Well, first of all, if someone asks me or they see me, if I'm in the gym, if I'm locked in, right, I look like I'm having fun. And I really am, because when I'm in the gym, I love being in the gym. That's where I love to be. And, chasing the pump, knowing that I'm working hard, I'm getting the gains. I make it fun for myself and the music that I listen to. I'm always bouncing around in the gym. I'm sure people talk about me all the time, but I get in my zone and I just have fun with it as much as possible. I think that the soldiers, that we have now, we have things in place where, hey, you kind of gotta be in shape if you want to, maintain your status. So it's kind of forced a little bit, but they look at me. I've had a few conversations with some folks, and they tell me that they really admire the work that I put in because they notice it. And I get a lot of questions. They ask me a lot of nutrition questions, workout questions, and hey, I'm here for them. I don't ever push them away. If they want to talk about it, I absolutely accept it, and I make time to talk to them about it, because if they're looking at me like that and I don't make time to kind of explain, I don't want to push them to the wrong, to another direction, to where they think that nothing can be done. You have to share the knowledge with the folks so that they're aware of everything, because some people, they just don't know. They don't know how to work out. They don't know how to eat. They don't know how to manage their time properly to get done what they need to get done. So I just attack it like that. If somebody asks me for help, I'm all there. I give them my best advice that I could give them. And then usually they walk away smiling or, oh, shoot, what did I just get myself into?
Right. How did you initially get involved in competing? Did you see something online or?
Bodybuilding for quite a while. I never thought I'd be a bodybuilder. I played football from little league all the way up through college. So once I got done playing ball and I didn't go pro, I decided that, the closest thing to the football field is the gym. So I stayed in it, man, and then I got buff. And several people, I ended up moving to the DMV area. And several people would, come and talk to me and say, hey, are you interested in bodybuilding? But at that time, no, I'm not doing that. I just want to live my life. I want to eat what I want to eat, drink what I want to drink, go party and do me, But, everything happens for a reason. And the reason why I started doing bodybuilding was because in 2017, at the end of 2017, my dad was killed in an accident. So at that point, I was seeing myself going down, mentally, physically, purpose was not there. So I knew right then and there that I had to pick something that would help me get out of this situation. And I needed to do it fast. And somebody asked me again after the fact about bodybuilding. And I said, hey, you know what? Why not? So what I ended up doing was did my research. I have been following bodybuilding, on social media. But like I said, I was never interested in doing it. I just like the guys. I was a fan of bodybuilding. So what ended up happening is I did my research. Hey, you need to find you a good coach. All right. So I'm online. I'm looking at the guys. I'm like, all right. Omar Ventura came up. I reached out to him and he took me on. I was blessed in that fact. He took me on, and then I was in prep in January. So my father, he passed in December, on December 8th, 2017. I was in prep January, ready to go. Because like I said, I needed to find something where I could focus that energy in, it's a cliche. You hear people say, bodybuilding saved my life. Well, yeah, that's the truth. I mean, depending on what the situation is, that may very well be the case. And that was it. Yeah, that was it for my case, because I really needed that. And hey, turned out I was kind of good at it.
Right. And so I would assume that every time you get on that stage, there's a reflection on your dad, like, Dad, we're doing this. You got this higher power, someone looking down, putting his hands on you. It's like, Charjo, let's go. You have the ultimate training partner in your corner.
Absolutely. Every time I get to those sticking points, you always think about, hey, why am I doing this? And I think about my dad, and I'm locked in. Like every time I get on stage, I point up, that's me and him, and I'm locked in. I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, Dad, let's go do this. So I use it in a positive way, right, versus a negative way to bring me down. So, and it's been great.
Right. And your story is a story I've heard from other competitors too, because many of them say with the life challenges that they had, from time to time, they felt overwhelmed, they felt stressed out, and they can't believe that they were able to get through things. And then something breaks, something happens in their schedule to their favor. Something happens with their food prep. Somebody says, guess what? I want to send you some free meals, or just something in life breaks. And then that's when they look up and say, that's my mom, or that's my dad. They're giving me the sign that we got you. We're providing that cover for you, or we're doing something for you. Or maybe you're so fatigued and you wake up one day like, I feel great. Well, that's that strength that your guardian angels provided for you.
Absolutely. I have the perfect story for that, because after he passed and I was, in prep, and man, it was really rough, man. I probably cried every day for a year, But one day, so let's go back to college. I had won a college championship for a conference championship, right? And we got a ring. And in the midst of me moving, I had lost it, right? And it was like a couple of years that I had lost it. And then one day, it was getting cold up here, and I pulled out a jacket that I had worn in a few years, right? And so I was trying to shake it out, and you wouldn't believe my ring fell out on the ground.
Oh, wow.
And when I saw that, it was a signal to me that my dad was telling me, you are a champion, you know. And once I got that, I get a little emotional about it, because, you know.
Oh, yes.
That's what it is. But when I saw that ring, I knew it was him. And so I put that ring on, and I wore it for a very long time. You know, just to look at it and say, hey man, it's okay. You're a champion. Champions get knocked down, but they don't stay down. You know, you get back up and let's go. So that in that aspect from what you were just talking about, yeah, I've definitely encountered that.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that story, because I think a lot of folks can relate to you, that these amazing things happen that even Steven Spielberg couldn't write, but they happen. And you just think, wow, how did it happen? And it's because it's the sign that you need at the time that you need it too.
Right.
People don't talk about the mental aspect of training enough. How, you know, how it helps. I mean, we know the physical, what it does for us physically, but if you really talk to, really get in depth with a lot of different people, they all talk about how mentally it, you know, it recharged them, or it helped them, or helped them get over something. Like, you know, people from the outside looking in look at you like, oh, you're just about the muscles and you're just about training. It's more of a mental thing. And for you, obviously being in football and, you know, great football player and such, it's just like it's a goal, it's mental, it's a combination of different things for different people. You know?
Exactly. It all works together for me, you know. It's just amazing. It's a therapy session, you know.
Yeah.
When I don't go to the gym for a few days, I just don't feel right.
Right.
I got to, you know, I got to lift some weight, you know, I got to exert myself, and I feel great now, you know. Yeah, my wife would tell me if I start acting cranky, she's like, you need to go to the gym.
Yeah. But I also think, you know, being retired from the Air Force, that when I was stationed at the Pentagon, many of our senior leaders would say it's imagery. When people are in the metro, or when they're walking around the Pentagon and they see you in your uniform, you want to display that pride of country. You want to display that strong in shape image. And I think, you know, when I saw you recently at the Armed Forces National Championships, you in your Army uniform, if I'm looking to create a recruiting poster, Charjo Grant is in it, because you look like the kind of person we all want to aspire to be, you know, that we represent the best of our country. Like I often say that those who serve our country are the best of the best. They are the best America has to offer. So by projecting that strong image and being a smart guy and being able to be flexible with things and learning and teaching and being a real leader, I think that's the epitome of being a professional. But that's the epitome of Charjo Grant too. He's been that kind of guy, and with, you know, with the support of your family and especially your wife, because you always talk about your wife, you're leading an amazing life, and we're really, really honored to have this opportunity with you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, she is something special. You know, we going on 2 years being married. Our anniversary is in February, so coming up on 2 years. And I don't know if you know, but at the first Olympia is when I proposed to her.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I did it right out at the finals, and we went out in front of the Olympia, you know, the letters, the word, and sign, and we did it right out there.
Well, I'm glad she said yeah, because if you would said no, I'm sure there's people with that video and they were like, and here's this guy getting rejected for the Olympia sign.
She's not going to say no. Look at him.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, how, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people in your unit or you know, on the base and stuff that look to you for advice, right? I mean, like you were looking at other bodybuilders, and you know, now they're looking at you. what advice do you give them if they're like, hey, I just saw you, you know, you're going into Olympia, good luck and everything. How do I get started? What do I do? Like, what's the main advice you would give them to get on track to compete?
Well, first of all, I would ask them, is this something that they really want to do? Because if you haven't made up your mind that this is something that you really want to do, you're not going to finish. When it gets tough, you're going to quit. Like, you got to really want to do it. So I have that conversation with them. I ask them, is this something you really want to do? Because it's going to get tough. You know, there's nothing easy about this thing. And, you know, once they assure me that this is something that they want to do, then I just take them through the steps. All right, now you need to find a coach. All right, because you can't do it by yourself. You don't know, you know, you're new to this. You need to figure out how to do this. You need to find a coach. And when you look for a coach, you need to find a coach that matches your personality, because every coach, you know, is not the same, and you may not jive well. So you have to find a coach that has the same personality as you. Like for me, for instance, I've been in the gym for years. You know, I don't need anybody to tell me how to work out. You know, I pretty much know my way around the gym, but I don't know how to eat right. You know, or I may not know how to do certain exercises to improve certain areas. So my coach will be able to tell me these things. But you have other people who need a lot of attention, you know, who want to have that daily connection with their coach. I don't have to talk to my coach every day because I'm not lost when it comes to the gym. But for new folks who haven't had a lot of experience in the gym, they need somebody who will be able to communicate with them when they have questions, because they're gonna have a lot of questions. And when you find a coach that is not like that, it doesn't work. The main problem will be, he just doesn't communicate with me. I ask him all these questions. I've already heard it before. You know what? Good match for you, and that's okay. You just need to find one that matches up for you. And then once I tell them, I recommend, you know, that they find them a coach, and then the rest is history, because that coach is guiding them from there on out.
I always tell people, you want to compete, okay? Can you take criticism and can you turn that criticism into success?
Right.
Because everyone wants to hear, yes, you look great. Yes, you're going to win. Yes. But when someone says, well, you need a little bit more delts, or you're not tight enough, or this and that, they go right to the coach and say, well, you didn't give me the right diet, or you didn't do this, you didn't do that. You know, when you're on stage, you're on stage alone, you know,
right.
And you're looking at you from every angle and this and that. And going up there, you know, you're not perfect. And you have to put that in your head. Some people go on stage, like they look at pictures of themselves in the gym, they filter them, they go in and they're like, I'm going to win. The gym is not the stage.
Right.
No, it is not.
Shot. And when you're being judged for every angle with the best in the world, like you are, it's a 1% difference from 12th place to first place. You know what I mean? Like, it's difficult. So you have to have that mentality that, okay, you go to somebody, a head judge or whatever, this is what I need to do, and change it. You have to leave your ego at the door. And a lot of people can't do that. They surround themselves with people who always say yes. And that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's just like social media. Now everybody looks great on social media until they get on stage and they stand next to someone. Oh man, like I didn't look as good as I thought I did, you know, or, you know, but, you know, they have to be able, like you said, they have to be able to take that constructive criticism and I shut down. They take the judge's feedback. Okay, let's work on it and come back. Don't stop. Keep coming back.
Take me through your first Olympia, when you were backstage at the Olympia, you know, obviously the pinnacle of competition. When you were backstage and you were looking at the other competitors, what went through your head? Like, I mean, you had a long journey, you know, you're there, you know, I like to see competitors who've gone step by step and now they're there. Did you get intimidated? Were you inspired? Like, what was going through your head when you were backstage?
I was more or less enjoying the moment. I was told that this is your first Olympia. Don't get crazy in your head and don't take in everything that's happening to you. At the Meet the Pros, take it in, meet the people, go talk to some folks, network, you know. because sometimes, you know, at a first Olympia, it could be a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
you know, and, oh man, I got to be right. And when when your mindset is like that, you can't have fun,
Right.
you know? So when I was backstage, I was just enjoying it. I was having fun. First of all, I was competing with some of the guys that I had admired, you know, never been on stage with them before. So just being in the same room, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I feel really good because I used to look up to this person and, you know, probably still do, but it's like, I have an opportunity here, you know, to just get out there and be with the best. And guess what? Oh man, I guess I am one of the best. You know, it's an eye opener, you know, because when, I don't know if you know, that 2020 Olympia run for me was a long year. I did 9 shows before I did the Olympia because I qualified off the points.
Yeah, I remember because at the time, you were the points leader for that. So who are some of the guys that you looked up to? Like when you started competing, was there, for me, it was Lee Haney. I love Lee Haney's physique. When I started getting right, got into bodybuilding, I liked Lee Haney. I thought he had one of the best physiques, obviously 8-time Mr. Olympia. Who were some of the bodybuilders that you looked at, or was it men's physique competitors?
Yeah, it was definitely men's physique competitors. So I would have to go with my team, you know. With Omar Ventura, so we had Raymond Edmonds, we had Andre Ferguson, we had Kaiki, you know, all those guys. I was like, those are the guys, you know, and I'm a teammate with them. You know, I'm looking up to these guys, they're killing it, you know, and I want to kill it too. Yeah. So, and I'm on the team that's killing it. So I gotta like, you know, tote my weight around because these guys are some heavy hitters and I gotta tote my weight around. I can't be a slouch.
And Charjo, that attitude you have, I think it's really important to share that with athletes because you don't know if you're going to make it back to that stage the following year between injuries and life and maybe even desire or the opportunity to train that much. So you have to take advantage of this opportunity because, listen, you think of your deployed life and now you're on the world-class stage as a world-class athlete in one of the toughest sports there are, and you're doing well at both. You're a great soldier, but you're also one of the top physiques in the entire world of billions of people. So that also has to be a bit of a, you know, mind-blowing. And you can tell all your friends, you know, like, look at, you know, thank you for your support. It's a team effort, but we made it. We made it to this stage. And I just think it's got to be incredible to have that opportunity to share it with so many who supported you, from your unit to your wife to your dad.
Right. It's amazing. You know, my wife, she tells me, you know, you're a humble guy, but sometimes you gotta, you know, let people know. And I do, but it's still, I'm still in awe sometimes when somebody come up to me and say, hey man, I've been watching you, you look awesome, you know, continue to do what you're doing. I mean, it makes me feel good. I'm always shocked, you know, because I'm like,
think of all of us. There's 25 million in the military community. We're all so proud of all of you and all the other military folks who serve, who are active and retired and veterans, that you get to that world-class stage because we know how difficult your other life is, let alone getting to the point to where you're considered one of the best in the world. So that's a tribute to all of us. That, again, when I go back to the best in our country, our military folks, in my opinion, here you are on that stage, giving everybody a run for show. So we just think hats off, salute to you, and keep going.
Thank you. You know, like I said, I just think I'm a regular guy. You know, I never go around tooting my own horn and stuff like that. I just work hard and I get the job done. No matter what is, you know, obstacle may be in my way, I know my goals and I know I need to achieve them. So I make a plan and I put my head down and I get to work. I think a lot of times, you know, like especially with social media, you have a lot of guys who post progression pics and all that stuff, and that's great. But everybody's not like that. You know, usually when it comes to me, you probably won't see like a physique picture for me, or an update rather, for like a couple of weeks. And then next thing know, I'll pop it out on you, and then I'm like, okay, now I can show you, you know, something worthy of it. But I know I get it. People like to follow the journey,
Sure.
and that's awesome. So I'm learning to do that a little bit more. But yeah, it's just something I had to adjust to because I think I'm a regular guy and nobody wants to, you know about what I'm doing like on a day-to-day basis. Like what you asked me, what's a normal day? Somebody said, man, you need to get a YouTube. And I'm like, nobody's gonna follow me. Nobody wants to know what I'm doing. But you'd be surprised that people actually do. So
Yeah, they do. And I think too, with all the support, all the groups who have supported you and the people, can you name a few of them besides your wife? Are there some companies and some individuals who have provided you some resources or provided you some support through their words of encouragement or mentorship that have gotten you to the point to where you're considered one of the top 12 in the world?
absolutely. So in my journey to, you know, just get progressively better in the league, I had a missing piece to my puzzle. And like I said, I didn't really need a lot of guidance or in the gym, but I still needed an extra set of eyes on me to, you know, or an extra push. So I have a trainer that goes by the name of Dwayne Turner, and he's been my trainer for a few years, and he has really helped me push past those peaks, you know, just tweaks my form just a little bit to where I'm feeling it a little bit more. And I needed that, you know, because yeah, I know how to get through it, but sometimes you need an extra push to break through those plateaus. And definitely want to say thank you to him because he has helped me reach another level as well. As far as companies, all my sponsors, Massive Supplements have been with me. Some local companies here, Body Mass Gym, which provides DEXA scans. So I go and I do routine DEXA scans to make sure that my diet is actually working. I'm losing the body fat, or they can tell me where I'm gaining my muscle mass from. Kaizo Health, they're a chiropractor here in the DMV area that I go in once a week, and they help me speed up my recovery. So, you know, that a lot of people don't, you know, take care of their bodies when they're beating it up, you know, and it's very important to get body work done. Yeah, and I'm not a young competitor either. I'm 37 years old. So even though I'm new to the sport, kind of, you know, about 4 years in, you know, I'm still 37. And so, and I've been in the military wearing a uniform for 20 years. So I got a lot of aches and pains that I need, or not that I need, but that I go through. And I need Kaizo help. They have been such a great help to help me stay healthy and, you know, just stay on that progression track, like I was talking about earlier. There's a ton of people. I probably wish you would have told me that. I would have looked at my list. So but yeah, it's just been great. Chula, she's been, you know, I talked to her from time to time, to Neil from Chula Wear. She is a positive person. She's always in my to me, making sure I'm good to go. Not just making sure that my shorts are great. But you know, as a friend, you know, you gain a family member with networking in bodybuilding. Since I've gotten into this, I have built some real great relationships with some folks, and I probably wouldn't be into it, you know, if I hadn't done bodybuilding.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you surround yourself with an amazing support group. You never stop learning too. I think that's also ego. When you think you know everything is when you do start to plateau. But when you start taking a little advice here and there, it all adds up, which is smart. Andre Ferguson I'm a good friend of Andre Ferguson, and he's very free with his advice and stuff too. He'll give you advice. Like, he's a really good guy, even to other competitors. How's he played a role with you? Like, has he given you any advice or whatever? Because I've seen him take a lot of time with different competitors who are competing in the same division, and his thing was, I still beat them, Frank. I still beat them. He goes, just because I give him advice doesn't mean I'm not going to beat them.
Yeah. Like, so Andre is very raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I learned, and that's good, because people need to be up. You know, you don't need anybody to be beating around the bush, sugarcoating stuff. When you want advice, you want it straight, because you're looking for it to help you in some type of way, right? So, you know, I learned a lot by just watching him on his lives. Listen to him, you know, sometimes he get criticism for this and that, but when I listen to him, I'm paying attention to the things that he's saying, because in there are jewels that if you listen, you'll catch those gems and you hold on to it. You know, he's just a different kind of guy. I have no complaints about my brother, Andre Ferguson.
He's the best. When I was backstage at the Olympia, he goes, "What do you think?" I went, he goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's fifth." So he goes, "I'm not competing and I'm not going to compete to the Olympia."
Yeah.
Said, "Why is that?" And he goes, "I'm just going to go straight." I'm like, "Are you independently wealthy?" I go, "Well, you were a men's physique competitor because you were supposed to compete." I'm like, So he went on tour. And we talked about this on a couple of interviews. He went on tour, he won like 6 shows in a row. He won the Arnold and what have you. And I was like, that's what you got to do. Like, I think everybody has that moment when expectations are there from other people and other, you know, and they're like, if you didn't win, you should be, you know, ashamed of yourself, or you did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's competitors who are better than you at that time. You know, they peaked better, or they're whatever. Like, it doesn't say that's going to happen every show. You know how difficult it is to peak for a contest. Like,
right.
You know, you can look fantastic the next day. So I don't think people understand that going into it either. Like, you know, how your body changes, cortisol levels, you know, nervousness, whatever, not eating the right carbs, sodium, whatever it may be, can be the difference between, you know, 10th and 5th place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you have to be spot on. How have you followed the same kind of formula for all of your shows, or have you had to change things up? I'm just curious.
For the most part, we stay pretty consistent, but make a few tweaks here and there. Last year, when we were at the Olympia, just like you said, you know, cortisol levels, right? Yeah. So I was off at the Olympia because I was stressed. You know, my cortisol, I was holding the water. I wasn't that normal dry. I was conditioned, but I was not that normal dryness that I normally bring to the stage. So I was backstage cramping, and it was terrible. It was the worst experience actually at a competition that I've ever had. But nobody could really see it. Thank goodness, because I was on stage fighting for my life. I had cramps all in my abdomen section, abs, and I was just up there just trying to hold that smile and hold that pose. And by the graces, I did. And when I got, like, I had the ladies backstage were helping me rub the cramps out before I would have to go back up. I mean, it was serious. And I thought I was done. And I was like, this is it. I just screwed up everything, you know, because I was so stressed. But somehow I ended up getting 12 again. But you know what that did? That let me know that I did improve from the previous year. And if I could come in and place 12th and I was off, I can't wait to see what happens this year, because I'm not going to be off this year. We're going to be on.
People don't know how painful those cramps are. Like, you know, I got a cramp once in my abs. I couldn't train abs for a month. Like, that's how, because you're so afraid of them, you know, cramping up again, because you know how excruciating that pain is. Like, it'll bring tears to your eyes. But I like that you said that, because I asked a competitor once, what's better, being at your best and placing second, or not being at your best and, you know, like having cramps and placing second? He's like, obviously, you know, I'd rather come at my best. You know, I would come at my worst or whatever, and come in second, because there's always that, you know, degree I can beat them. but I see it from time to time. You've seen like, you know, certain people come in and, you know, that he came out of nowhere. No, he was there. He was there. It just takes time. You know, like Ronnie Coleman was 16, 15, 5th. Like it took a progression, but they're like, he's a success overnight. No one's a success overnight. Everything takes hard work, as you know.
Yeah.
And
Like,
Charjo, I was assumed that because you went through that, now it's given you this discipline and this foundation that you know that you can overcome a hardship on stage and power your way through it, that maybe a first-time competitor would not have the experience to do that. And I would think that would help you with, you know, your 2022 preparation and when you get on stage again, because if you experience it, you said, I've already been through this. I know what to do. Keep smiling and I'll be able to overcome this.
Exactly. Like I said, it's not about getting knocked down. It's about getting back up.
Right.
You know, that's what defines it. It's what do you do? How do you react when life punches you in the face? Are you gonna stand down or are you gonna get up and rise up and be a champion? And
or if you catch cramps on an Olympia stage.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would not be doing that again.
Well, Charjo, we really appreciate your time. We know you're probably getting ready to do your training or prep for your food or spend some time with your family. So to spend this last hour with Frank and I, we really, really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you there in Las Vegas. You'll have, again, 25 million people supporting you from the military community, that we're just honored and so proud of you, that you continue to do what you continue to do, is be on that stage and represent all of us who serve our great nation. And you represent your dad and your family. And that Grant name is powerful. The most important thing, one of the most powerful things you have is your name. You want to keep going forward with it and bring with it that people respect and honor and think of you as a classy individual. And that's what we think of you, Charjo.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here, to be chosen to, you know, figure out what I'm thinking. And I think that's a blessing. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. But there's a couple of things that I would like to say that I didn't say earlier, if I can.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, you know,
Frank Sepe is your favorite bodybuilder.
Hey, actually, we need to get a workout in because we got a great gym down here called DMV Iron. I don't know if you heard about it.
No, but I'll definitely come down. We'd love to come. I'd love to see different facilities and train 100%.
Listen, I know you've been to a lot of different gyms, but I'm guaranteeing you lunch that this will be your top 3. It's gonna be in your top 3. If you come down here and have a workout at DMV Iron, I guarantee you it's gonna be in your top 3 best gym you ever been in.
I'm coming. I'm bringing Rob.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but what I really wanted to say was my mom. That, other than my wife, my mom is still here. That's my best friend as well. She, you know, that's a hard charger. I get that, you know, confidence and that hard working, not only from my dad, but I got it from my mom as well. My mom is retired law enforcement, so she's a tough cookie. I remember one time when I got in trouble, she said, do you know what happens to, I probably was like 8 or 9. She was like, do you know what happens to young guys who act up in school and get in trouble? You know what happens to them? She said, let me show you. And she was an extraditionist, right? At one point in time, you know, transporting the prisoners. And so she put them on me, right? And I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. I do not want to have these on me. And she was like, you don't want to be like that. And we took them off, and it was say no more. We're doing good things out here. So, you know, if I didn't have that tough love from my mom, you know, to push me to continue to do, you know, to do the very best that I can, I probably wouldn't be in this situation. That I used to make a 98 on the test, and she was like, what happened to the other 2 points? You know, she was that kind of person. But I really appreciate her because she really pushed me to become great and to be great. And so thank you to my mom for being there for me, and she still is. I love her to death.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you sharing that. And I would think well, before I forget, where can we find you? Where's your social media, some of your tags or your handles that we can follow you and keep up with the goings on of Charjo Grant?
Well, I'm on Instagram at IAM Charjo, so IAMCHARJO. And that's pretty much it. I do have a link tree that has my YouTube. It hasn't been active in a while, but we're going to get back on it since some people are interested in what I do. So we'll do that. But that's pretty much the main thing. Or you can, if you come to the DMV Iron Gym, I'm sure I'll be there.
I'm coming. I'm coming. Rob, you're going too.
Yes.
Absolutely. Come on out.
We'll
We'll see you there, Charjo. But again, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. We look forward to you on the Olympia stage, again, doing what you do, this classy physique, representing the men and women and their families who serve our country and representing your family name. So thanks again for your time. And this isn't over, Charjo. You're part of the Muscle and Fitness family now. So we'll be asking you for more advice. We'll be asking you to jump in and help us out wherever you can. So we appreciate your support.
Not a problem. Anytime. And like I said, it was an honor. Thank you for having me on.
It's an honor, gentlemen, for me to be with both of you. And we can't wait till this is up, and we will tag you and follow this man's journey to the Olympia. We'll be there.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Good night.
Good night.